Hi everyone, this is Board Games and Bourbon. I'm Glenn Flaherty, and right now I want to tell you about Conquest of Speros, which is a game I didn't know what it was about, and I'm really loving it. In fact, everyone I'm sharing it with is really enjoying it. This is a game that is put up by Gray Fox Games. It's a small box. I picked it up at a convention. I think you can get it online for like around $20, but if you go to a convention, you might even get it for less. I think I got it part of a deal where I think it was like $8 maybe. But I got to tell you, this game really should be a big box game, and I would encourage Gray Fox to put it out again in a big box format. That's how good it is. Now, really what you have in this game, if I was to tell you what it was about and how it plays, which I will, is it is a card-based area control enabled Champions of Midgard in a way. And what's going to happen is every independent player is going to have their own color of meeples that you put out on the board, and the game ends when all your meeples are used. But what you're doing is you're putting them on location cards, and every time you put something down, you get that effect. You are building area control of the card, and then ultimately you get a benefit at the end. And then it kind of has like this point salad ending where you're going to get points for, and let me flip my little game reference card over here. You're going to get points for the value of the cards you got. If you have sets of cards, trains that aren't your color you're on, train you are on that matches your color. You have two types of workers, leaders and minions. You get points for what the minions are on, points for what the workers are on themselves, and then you have bonuses. You're trying to accomplish both private bonuses and a master bonus, which is pretty cool. This one in particular also had an expansion that added a little bit more diversity to it, and you get these big stack of cards in this game, and every card has a little power on it, but there's a lot of repetitions in there, so it's not so unwieldy that you're going to spend 10 minutes memorizing and figuring out what to do with every card, which is something I find with a lot of card games. There's so many different powers. You're like, okay, hold on. No, there's repetitions in here. So you can kind of see the lay of the land, and you can start to plot forward. Because let's say, I'm not sure how many powers there are. Let's say there's 8. Okay. The timing of when you play these powers is what makes the whole difference in the game. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let me set it up for you and explain how it plays. And I think you'll really understand the joy in the game too. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to get a little player aid. First of all, kudos for that. It tells you not only what the scoring is, it tells you what all your turns are in the game, what you can do. Okay. And basically in the game, what you're going to do is you're going to put cards out from your hand to do a power. And then you're going to do a placement, and then you can place in a few different ways. You're going to get this little player aid. You're going to get your general, your big meeple. There's big meeples and there are small meeples. You only have one large one and a bunch of tiny ones. And then you get a card that gives you powers. Now, this is a one-time card for you alone. It's a power. Now, in this case, what it says here, it says the commander's presence. The name of this commander is Nemendul. So there's a lot of artwork in there. There's a lot of character building and world building, okay? And it says, if Nemendul is face up, all of your captured mountain cards, because these cards here have different territories on them. Some are mountain cards, some are swamp cards. But to me, they're just, colors. Swamps are blacks, greens are forests, mountains are browns, like that. But mountain cards, okay? Mountain cards are worth 2 points instead of 1 normally, and your gold is worth 1. So this is kind of like a score criterion. So basically this is saying if you didn't use your card for a power throughout the game, you use it as a scoring condition. The second power on this card says if you flip this over, you can capture an artifact card, which is a little different than territories, only in that they both have short-term and long-term powers, whereas territories have basically only instant powers. Capture an artifact on which you have at least one of your minions, one of your meeples, okay? But once you use it, you flip it over, and that way you don't have access to it anymore. So you got your player aid, you have your leader, you have your color of meeples. You're going to get 8 location cards, okay? And these cards look like this. And let's just take a look here. For instance, This is called an ocean, okay? And the ocean has 3 spots, 3 territories on it where you can put camps, they're called, I believe, where you can put different minions. It also has a power, and then it also has a crystal. Now, if you get a set of like crystal, this here is like a rock or something, I forget, and I think there's gold as well, okay? If you get a set of those, you get points at the end of the game, right, for every set. You've heard about that before, that kind of thing. And what you got to do to start out the game is you got to look at your hand. You get 8 of these cards. You're going to pick one to put out. So I'm just going to pick a mountain. This says mountain, okay? So I put that out. And let's just say this player does that too. Let's just say they put that out. It's an ocean card, okay? You're also going to get some private bonus cards in the game. And the private bonus cards in the game, only you can score. You're going to get 3, but you only get to score 1 of them at the end of the game. This says you're going to get 5 points for every set of 3 captured iron. That's what it is. Iron cards in the game, the little black thing. So you have, what do you have here? You have gold, you have iron, and then I already forgot crystal. Okay? You get 5 points there. I would say the overall score in the game is around 20 to 30 points. So 5 is a quarter of the score. That's pretty big. Bonus, it says here 1 victory point for each iron card on which you have a unit. Okay, so if in the game I had one of my meeples right here on this card in one of the little camps, that would instantly be a point for me at the end of the game. So I'm choosing between these, which score me the most. Bonus objective here, 1 victory point for each card you have on a unit. 1 point for each card you have a unit on that you share with an opposing unit. So if I just had workers spread all around the board, I would get points that way. So that's pretty varied, believe it or not. This person's going to have the same thing, okay? And that's basically going to be the setup of the game. Now, so what we did here is we did that. Now we're going to choose somebody to start the game. Let's just say we're going to start with blue, okay? And the way the turn works is as follow. Blue is going to take a look at their hand. And what you got to do first, step 1, is you have to play a card down. So I have a card here. When I play it down, it's usually going to have an effect on it. This card here, if I played it down, I have to be careful. Come on, into my hand. Let's see here. This card has no power. I don't want to play that. Or if I just want to throw it away, I can. If I play this one here, the forest, it says I may draw a card and gives me options for the future. This one says Ocean, Forced Exile. I love that card. Exile a targeted minion. And remember, minion is their word for other worker from the battlefield. The whole thing is the battlefield, okay? That's either cards here or one that you've had area control and you pulled into your own little private area. Exile a targeted minion from the battle area and return it to the camp. And that's what this thing is right here, okay? That's pretty good, but not useful now because no one's on the board. Obliterate. Remove a targeted minion that is on a card that matches your color from the game totally, so that person loses a worker altogether. Remember, there's a limited supply here. That's how the game ends. So that's interesting, but again, no one's on the board. Treasure hunt. Place a minion from your base camp on any artifact in your skirmish area. In the skirmish area. So the skirmish area is basically right here. Battlefield is in the entire game, both here and what you already claimed. But the skirmish area is here, okay? And that could be cool. I might trigger that one. Treasure hunt, same thing, and then another blank card here. So I have 2 good options here that I'm thinking about, and I'll tell you why. You're going to see how the decisions come into play. I could play this down for the power, and it says play a minion from your base camp onto an artifact. Now I have 2 artifacts here that I could play. Well, this one that we chose for the game, there's as many artifacts as there are players. And this says here, if I put a worker down, it says move an opponent's minion located within the battlefield to any card in the skirmish area. Now that would be really good if I had a card I needed to move, a minion I had to move to kind of mess up someone else's scoring capabilities. Or maybe like the card earlier said, I get points if my worker and their worker is on a card. Well, if I only had my worker on a card, I might go here so that I can trigger this ability, take their worker and put it on my card, which actually scores me a point. Ultimately, if I have area control here, I'm going to have, this says capture. Whenever an opponent moves one of your minions, you may choose to relocate that minion to an encampment on any captured area. So that means if I earn this early, I can take it here and it gives me a power for the rest of the game, which is to shift things around. I'm also going to get 2 victory points at the end of the game. Pretty important, okay? The other card here says excavate. I put a worker here. I get to draw a card instantly. Awesome. Also, this is a wild resource. So I might really want to start building and trying to capture this. The capture power here says the card counts as 1 resource of your choice at the end of the game, right? So that helps you get that 3-point bonus at the end of the game. So that's pretty good, okay? So if I put this card down, I get to put a worker there. That's one of my options. The other thing I might want to do, I might want to play a card I don't really need. I have a lot of blue crystals, so I might just play it to get rid of a blue crystal from my hand so I have some diversity in my hand here. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and play my swamp, okay? And so the swamp says I can put something down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my first worker on the Alchemist's Cauldron. The instant power is I get to draw a card in my hand, which is awesome. So it keeps me, full of choices here. There is a rule in the game that says if you ever run out of cards, your next turn, you just have to draw cards and you can't do anything else, okay? So I did that and I pulled it in my hand. Now, the next thing I get to do is I get to do my movement step. So what I can do at that part is I can take a card from my hand and I can put it down here. They have something called explore. I can explore, attack, lead, or plan. So if I explore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a card and I'm going to put it into play. Put a location card from your hand into the skirmish area. If the location does not match my color, I can put a worker on it, okay? So I could go, I could put down a swamp. Swamp is not my color. Ocean is my color, okay? And then I could put my worker right there. So I'm already, in control there. I'm leading the area control. I could score this. All cards are worth 1 victory point, and it gives me a gold. That's one of my options. I could also do what's called leading, and leading means put a general down. General are the big meeples. So if I put a big meeple down on this card here, it can be on any color card. If there's space for a follow worker, I can actually put down 2. So that's pretty good. That would have really worked here. For example, if I put this down, and it's not my color, I put 1 worker. And then when it's red's go, red could have led there on their turn, put down 2 workers. They would have had area control. They take it into their hand. Okay, they have 1 point. You're also going to be able to claim your card if effectively you have, area control there. Like if I have 3 out of the 4 and, no matter what, I'm going to have area control, you can go ahead and claim it that way too. Okay, and then the last thing I can do is I can plan. I can draw 3 cards into my hand. Okay, 3 cards from the location deck. So what I am going to do is I am going to I'm going to put that down because I want to start getting on the board. And now we're really going to start seeing how the game unfolds. Okay, so that was Blue's turn. And who was their leader? Their leader was Senna of the Western Sea. The art in this game is really cool. I can't believe this is such a small box game and that it was only like $8. $25. I got to tell you, I even think that's a deal. I would have paid $35 for this, but it needs a bigger box, better cards and stuff like that. But this is a great game. If you can get it, please do. Sienna of the Western Sea, Commander's Presence, the power number 1. If Sienna is face up in your general's area, is on an, let me restart that. If Sienna is face up and your general is on an ocean location, your general scores 3 additional points. Okay, extra points, that works. Sunken Treasures. Flip Sienna, if your general is on a captured artifact, draw 4 cards. Okay, that's kind of cool. So what power do I want to play? Well, let's see here. I have Treasure Hunts, Minion on your base camp on an artifact. More treasure hunts, rapid incursion from the swamp. When you explore a location that matches your unit's color, you may deploy a minion. Okay, I do like that. I do like that, but I don't need it now. I have a lot of treasure hunting here. A lot of treasure hunting. Okay. This is a cool card that I might want to capture. This one here has two things on the bottom, gold and iron, so that can help me score. So there's a lot of debatable decisions here. Boy, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say I want to do a treasure hunt. Treasure hunt lets me place a minion from your base camp onto an artifact. I am going to go here because I want to counteract the area control. Doing that instantly lets me draw a card. And I do want to get some, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go here. I'm going to put a mountain. No, that doesn't let me do that power. Shoot. I'm going to go for, I'm going to put down an ocean, okay? An ocean is pretty good. Put it there, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explore it, and I'm going to put my worker on it. Boom, like that. And that was my turn. Okay, now, as this goes on, it would go back to me, okay? You can imagine this even with more people. And by the way, I forgot to mention the master objective that's in the game. This says here, 3 victory points to the player who has units deployed only on cards of opposing colors. Hey, not bad. And that's by the end of the game, okay? So again, I'm going to go here. I'm going to play Ocean card. This says Force Exile. I'm going to exile a targeted minion from the battlefield and return it. So I'm going to put that down. I'm going to return their color to them. So now the ocean's free. And I have to play now I have to do some type of action here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to play this down. And I'm going to do the lead. I'm going to put 2 workers down. Now, when you do that, according to the book, that is called capturing the location. And that is demonstrating majority. A player demonstrates majority when he or she would achieve majority, even if all of the locations remaining on the unoccupied spaces were occupied by other players. So even if it was filled, I would have won. I'm demonstrating majority. This comes to me. Now, when this comes to me, it comes to me with my 2 people locked on it. Okay, my 2 workers are locked on that card. So I'm still reduced by the number of people I have. I've also reduced the skirmish area. But there are cards that'll let you bring your leader back in the game. And it'll say your leader, your general comes back in, but you have to replace them with a little minion like that. There's cards in the game that'll say you can banish someone from a card and put them on a card you captured. So I could pull my opponent off there and stick them there as long as I had the spot. There's cards that say open up a spot on your card, and you do that so you can banish somebody. There's a lot of different play that goes on, and I'm really, really digging it. The games overall are taking about half an hour, and it's been engrossing the whole time. Even when my turn is over, I have to watch what everyone else is doing so I know what I want to play. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I think the art is wonderful. I love the little world building it does. You have to be aware of your objectives, the main objective, what's going on with the artifacts. You have to constantly be balancing what you're aiming for through it. And for that reason, Conquest of Speros gets my biggest thumbs up. I'm really, really enjoying it. I do encourage you to get this, okay? If you have questions about the gameplay, please ask me. Don't hesitate. I'm happy to answer and give you my thoughts. Maybe we can even play it someday if I see you at a convention. That'd be super cool. Again, thank you. And friends, Happy New Year. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.